Well, this view can only mean one thing. On the floor of the garage, the car up on jacks. Car trouble. So, under my wife's car here, it's a 97 Camry. And this joint right here came apart. And you can already see I tried using just high temperature epoxy to put it back together. And that broke, which is frustrating. So, but it's right at this joint. And the old clamp that was on there is so rusted that it's in the way. And so I've got it kind of braced up. I had to use a jack to hold that side up. And I've got a piece of sheet metal with a couple of clamps giving it a little bit of support here. And I got to figure out how I'm going to actually seal it. I think for now, I'm going to just try epoxy again. But the epoxy by itself isn't enough. It's not strong enough. It's too brittle. So I think I'm going to try. I'm still debating how this is going to work. But putting epoxy in with, or mixing steel wool in with the epoxy, and hopefully that will give it enough, a little extra strength to hold up to the vibration. But we'll see. This is where I'm at so far. All right, so I looked in the bag of stuff I'd picked up. I'd forgotten what I bought. In addition to the epoxy, I had this stuff. Bandage kit, basically. So it's got essentially a fancy ace bandage with what I assume is half of the epoxy, or an epoxy-like stuff, plus some activator liquid. You put the liquid in the stuff, run the bandage through it, and wrap it around, kind of like that. So I'm going to give this a try. I don't know that I can get a camera down under there while I'm working, so I'll show you what it looks like after I give it a go. All right, well, I wrapped it all to hell with that stuff. So hopefully, hi Tums, hopefully that helps. I'm still kind of anticipating needing to maybe layer some epoxy over this stuff, but it will at least, hopefully, buy me a couple of days here. So it says it needs to sit and cure for at least half an hour. I'm going to assume it's going to need more than that. All right, so an important note with that bandage stuff is it appears to eat latex. I had some latex gloves for working with it, and the first batch that I went to use literally ate holes through the gloves, and I burned my hands a little bit. But then the next couple of batches didn't, so maybe who knows, but be careful. Might be worth using nitrile gloves instead of latex, but hey, hopefully this stuff's going to work. Like I said, package says let it cure for half an hour. But as a general rule of thumb, for every 10 degrees Celsius that you go down, any kind of a chemical reaction is going to take about twice as long. So if you go down 20 degrees, now you're looking at 4 times as long, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just going to let this sit all night, which means I have to get up a little earlier in the morning because I'm going to have to get it down off the jacks and everything before I leave for work in the morning. But hopefully we now have a nice, quiet car. So, yeah, fun adventures. Like I said, I'm always doing something weird. To quote Warp Legacy, I'm doing it my way. Yes, I know that's not the right way. I love it. I got to get one of those shirts. But, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Maybe you learned something. If nothing else, hopefully you learned how not to fix a muffler. But, yeah, cheers.